All right, guys, check it out. We are back right now. We are putting the beaver panel in. I need to fit it up so I can put the lights in so I can see the distance between each quarter panel before I cut and weld this one. So today we're going to grab the beaver and we're going to try and make this fit with the lights and make sure it's nice and tight. You ready? Let's go. Off camera, I did a little bit of work. I cut what I didn't need off. I unpicked it and cut that because we don't need that. And also I cut this. Now there's a reason why I cut this, and I also did the same on the car. So this usually sits here, like so. Now this determines sort of where the beaver panel will sit. And from the accident, it had sort of pushed it and, you know, just made a bit of a mess of it. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna cut it off and I'm gonna re-tack this one on. So that sits there and it actually gives it a better line. So as it curves in, it actually gives it a nice straighter bend as opposed to what the original one did, because the original one was mangled. I tried to fiddle around with it. I was like, stuff it. I'm just going to cut it off and re-weld this part on. And once I do that, then I can line up the beaver again. The beaver will sit here and then it goes all the way across to where I need it to go. But I can't do this with one hand. I need two hands. So we're going to get into it now and let's go. All right, guys, as you can see, I've done it. I've welded it on, ground it back, and there she is. All right, guys, so we just finished. It's all bolted in. The boot lights line up, which was one of my biggest concerns. Oh, also I changed the garnish. This one wasn't fitting right for some reason, but I'll make it work. But yeah, everything sits nicely. There's nice gaps. The only other thing I've got to do now is shift the boot over because there's quite a big gap here in comparison to here. So I'm just going to undo the 4 nuts where the hinges are and just tap it over until I can get an even gap on either side. And that, to me, is a good position for the quarter panel. So then I can then cut and weld it. But before I do that, there's a part of the beaver panel that's missing. See this? I've got to put a fillet piece in here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my old quarter, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to fill it in to this section here. As you can see, there's a nice gap. First things first, we're going to do the boot, and then we'll get onto that. Let's go. I've done it, it's adjusted. It was a pain in the ass to do it by myself because it's such a big hatch, and when you go to adjust it, it wants to slide down as well as, you know, as you're trying to move it across and whatever else have you. So I'm going to redo it with another pair of hands, get a mate of mine to come and give me a hand or something like that. But other than that, it's done. I'm almost ready to cut the quarter panel and weld it on. All of this was done for that one specific purpose. Everything from the beaver panel to the lights to the fixing of the boot was all so I can see where this goes, so I can cut it and weld it on. Quick update on the boot situation. I fixed the inner skin. I didn't record the whole process, but I will show you now exactly what I did. Here's the inner skin. So essentially I used the same technique that I did to pull out the outer skin. However, the nails that I was using were very thin, so I needed to get something thicker. So I got a thicker gauge screw, welded it, unfolded here, pulled it out so it was underneath, and then folded it back. I tack welded a few tacks to give it stability. So now that outer skin is not moving and the inner skin's in. There is a few holes here, but I will fix that when I go to prime it and paint it. So that was the update with the inner boot. All right, guys, check it out. We're back right now. We are cutting and welding the quarter panel today, or preparing it for welding. It's a bit hot outside. I don't know if I'm going to weld it today, but I want to prepare it for welding. So the plan of attack is this. We're going to cut the quarter where I've got the line, as you can see. I've got a line there. I've got a line here. Take the quarter off. Prepare it all for welding. I've got to prepare all in here. I have to prepare behind here, take the paint off it, underneath the wheel arch. I've got a lot of preparation to do. Once I do that, I will refit it, make sure all the clearances line up really well, and then tack weld it in so it stays there. Then I can get on to welding this part, the arch and the pillar. So we're moving on to it today. Let's do it. Let's get it done. What I need to do is, because these two panels are overlapped, when I cut directly down the center and get rid of the offcuts, it's going to give me the perfect gap. So then I just put it together and then weld it. Everything is ready to go, so let's do it. It would help if you had your batteries charged. So I did it, I cut it. As you can see, there's the gap there, leaves a nice 1mm gap. Did the same up here. It's very hard up here because it's quite a tough space to get in, but I got it, I can fix it. Now I've just got to pull it off, prepare it all for welding, and put it back on. All right, guys, it's done. It's on the car. It's clamped down. It's screwed down. I've used some self-tapping screws here, as you can tell, just so it can hold it in place. It's a nice fitment here with this cut, which I'm very happy about. It's all ready to go. The lights are back in. I put the lights in and the bottom beaver because I needed to see how it lined up. And it lined up pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with the fitment. Next thing we need to do now is just weld it. It's a bit hot and I've spent hours on this, so I'm not gonna do it today. We are almost there and I can't wait, because as soon as I finish the back, the exterior, then I've gotta work on the interior, and that's gonna be exciting. Wait till you see what I'm gonna do with that. So I'm gonna start off by doing a few spot welds up the top here. And then I'm going to do some tacks down the arch. I've got to massage it in place down the bottom here. So I'm going to start at the top where it's nice and smooth. And then as I go down, I'm going to move it around and massage it in place. I may do underneath the wheel arch. I've got to do some parts in there. But first of all, I need to get this right. And once I get that right, then I can move on to the rest of it. So that is the plan of attack. And let's do it. It's done. I've welded the quarter panel on. Only took about 3 months, but we got there in the end. All right, so look, check it out. As you can see, I spot welded it all. And then welded where it needed to be welded up here. In here was quite a problem because it's such a tight space. So there is a bit of weld in there. However, I will grind that back and it should come out really good. I welded underneath the arch. Inside here where it needed to be welded is all done. And then I've got this section here, which I've just tacked it. And I'm going to attempt to TIG weld it. I've never TIG welded like this before, and it should be quite interesting. Essentially, these were my settings. So I was at 12 volts, 4.5 wire speed. That was the settings that I felt worked best for me in order to weld the sheet metal. Because it's so thin, you don't want too much voltage because you blow holes in it. I blew a few holes, but that's fine. You learn, you live and you learn. Anyway, so that were my settings. I MIG'd it. Now I'm gonna TIG it and let's see how we go. Have a look at this. How's this for a joke? Look at this weld. I've tried to TIG it and it's rubbish, no good. So it's distorting the panel. It's like the amount of heat that's going in it, it's distorting. My welds aren't that good at all. So I'm gonna grind it and I'm gonna MIG it. I think I'm better at MIGing than I am at TIGging thus far, but you know, you gotta give it a crack. Anyway, so I'm gonna get back to this. That's a joke, I can't even believe that. So I'm gonna MIG it, I'm gonna grind it back, MIG it, and let's go. All right, guys, here we go. That's better. At least we have a nice bead there that I can then grind back and then smooth it over with Nikki. I need to bog it more because it caved in when I TIG welded it, but that's fine. It's okay. Just we live and we learn. So, but I'm happy with that. I'm probably not going to grind it now because it's getting late, which I really want to do, but I don't know. I feel bad for the neighbors, so I probably won't do it. I'll do it tomorrow. Anyway, but that's it. We've welded the quarter panel on. It's all on. I'm stoked. I can't believe that I've finally welded this quarter panel on. Like, it's taken me however long, but it's been an awesome process and I can't wait to move on to the next stage. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me and I'll see you on the next one. Good boy. Hey.